All right, Amazon Personalize allows rule-based promotions and recommendations. This is pretty neat and it's pretty straightforward, right? So the idea is you have a recommendation engine. It's sitting there. You bought, I don't know, you bought a sandwich maker. Maybe you need a spatula or I don't know, something.
It will recommend to you a spatula or whatever, depending on what you want. You know, typically when you buy something, it says other people who bought this also bought these particular items. So depending on the parameters that are provided, the recommendation engine will give you a bunch of recommendations, decide how many you want.
This is really bad. Have you seen the one where you buy a ski mask and it recommends a baseball bat?
Yes. I've had some bad recommendations at times, but in general, when I look at something like Amazon, just look at the Amazon store, based on the stuff I usually buy, the recommendations are almost spot on. Like especially when I'm buying groceries and stuff like that. The more data that the system has about my interaction with the Amazon shopping carts and so on, the better the predictions get.
Yeah.
Like once it realizes that I'm ordering something every month, it recommends that I make it a monthly order rather than make it, an ad hoc one-time thing. And it recognizes all of those patterns pretty intelligently. So, AWS Personalize is really awesome from that standpoint. And I think the very first episode we did, the other podcast AWS Insiders, by the way, that you can find on awseasyon.com as well. We have,
there we go.
There we go. Our very first.
Oh, here we go. It's on Apple Podcast. I'll put it on awsmedia.com.
Yeah, it is on awsmedia.com as well. So find that podcast there where we talk to Ankur Mehrotra, the GM of AWS Personalize. There you go. So you go to that one, and the very first episode, we talk about AWS Personalize. Really, really cool. A lot of very interesting scenarios. And what I like about this particular announcement is that one of the hard things to do is when you have a set of recommendations, you want the recommendations to be stuff that the engine first finds. But then somewhere in there, you also want to recommend things that you want to push, like promotion, right? These are things that you want to push to all users, irrespective of what the recommendation sets are. And that has historically been hard because you get a recommendation set, and you have to figure out which one of those 5 or 6 items you want to eliminate to insert one of your promotions. And then how do you figure out the distribution? Do you promote the same stuff to every of your users, or do you promote it only to a set of those users? So this rule system really helps you solve that problem, where you can say, I want 20% of the recommendations to have all the skill-based items to go to all of these users.
Yeah, okay.
And so it'll embed those inside the recommendations based on also what is relevant to them. So you can say 20% of the recommendations should be stuff that I want to push, right? And the AWS Personalize will take care of that for you. It'll still seem like all very relevant recommendations, and the engine takes care of all the complexity for you.
That seems like it's going to be really useful for retailers who they have particular things that they want to sell. They know that certain combinations go really well together, certain pairs of products. A long time ago, well, not that long, but when I was buying baby things on Amazon, there's very clusters. There's people who like Disney branded stuff, or there's people who like organic, natural stuff, and there's kind of clusters of items in the baby gear world. And I can see being able to insert a new product into that mix, and instead of waiting for the recommendation system to pick it up to be able to promote it. That's a really neat idea.
I mean, one example, I think I read a case study some time ago where if you are buying baby products on Amazon, they always have a diaper in the recommendation. As far as I know, Amazon has never made a profit on it. They bought out diapers.com, if I'm not mistaken, at one point of time. But it's just such an essential part of the shopping experience. Like if you don't shop for diapers on Amazon, you would probably not buy the other products over there. So
yeah, and you'd never ever see that and think, oh, I don't need diapers.
Exactly. So they would do for it, and this is a mechanism that allows you to do that. And it's not just retail. I think there's a lot of application in any kind of content that you're serving out to individuals, whether it be news, whether it be movies, whether it be music. In all of those scenarios, you have a situation where there's a new show, and you want to recommend a show. Like if we were to have a recommendation engine for someone visiting our AWS Made Easy site, if we had to do a top 5, then in today's show, we would push AWS Personalize and all the content that we have around Personalize, because that's what we're talking about, right? That's something new. That's a new announcement. So you can push that content.
And that's the other example it gives, right? It says video on demand customers can use 40% of their rail carousel with linear live TV content.
Right. Or any new releases, like a new movie just released or online. They always have this part of the recommendations. So yeah, I mean, this makes life easy for anyone who is doing tons of recommendations as part of their application without having to manage the complexity of how to present all of that data and inject these recommendations in the middle of other standard,
Yeah, because otherwise you would have to write some code after Personalize to then say, okay, take this out, put this in, and then you'd have to watch it and monitor it somewhere else. So this brings it all under one place. That's a really neat idea.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess in rating, I'm going to give this a Simplifies. And then in terms of the article content, it would have been neat to have a hard example. I mean, they give soft examples in terms of this is the kind of thing you can do, but it would have been neat to have a concrete example to go on.
So I think what I would love for something like this is like the 5 article that we reviewed at the beginning, where there's a step-by-step, process of how you set this up. Having that step-by-step, here's how you do it in the console, here's how you set up a new rule. That would have been really neat. Of course, this is fairly intuitive. You could probably just go to the console and figure it out. But from a content standpoint, I think having that would have been really useful.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's give that a, what do you think?
I give this a 3.5.
All right.
Yeah, 3.5 seems good.
There we go. And then, there's a little half cloud there. Let's see. We have to get some outlines on these graphics.
Make the clouds gray, I think.
Okay.
or put in an Amazon, yellow or orange, whatever the shade is.
Perfect.
The orange border around the cloud.
We do that. Okay. Well, let's go.